Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates Global Investor Summit 2025 in Madhya Pradesh, says textile, tourism and technology sectors will play a significant role in India's developed future. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelenskiy welcomes leaders to support Ukraine event in Kiev, calls for real lasting peace this year. German conservatives under Friedrich Merz faces tricky coalition talks after winning a national election. Far-right AfD party surged to a historic second place. Olaf Scholz SPD came in third. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the Invest Madhya Pradesh Global Investor Summit 2025 in Bhopal on Monday, emphasizing the state's vast potential as an investment hub. The two-day event is set to attract participation from over 60 countries, international organizations and more than 300 industry leaders from India. The summit will feature sectoral discussions on pharma, medical devices, transport, logistics and tourism, aiming to boost investments in the country. In his address, PM Modi underscored India's vision towards becoming a developed nation, identifying textile, tourism and technology as the three key growth sectors, and said that these sectors not only generate employment but also contribute to the nation's holistic development.
विकसित भविष्य में तीन सेक्टर्स की बहुत बड़ी भूमिका रहने वाली है। ये तीनों सेक्टर्स करोड़ों नई जॉब क्रिएट करने वाले हैं। ये सेक्टर्स हैं टेक्सटाइल, टूरिज्म और टेक्नोलॉजी। आप टेक्सटाइल के सेक्टर को ही देखें तो भारत कॉटन, सिल्क, पॉलिएस्टर और विस्कोस का दूसरा सबसे बड़ा प्रोड्यूसर है। भारत का टेक्सटाइल सेक्टर करोड़ों लोगों को रोजगार देता है। भारत के पास टेक्सटाइल से जुड़ी एक पूरी ट्रेडिशन भी है, स्किल भी है और एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप भी है। और मध्य प्रदेश तो एक प्रकार से भारत की कॉटन कैपिटल है। भारत की करीब 25% ऑर्गेनिक कॉटन सप्लाई मध्य प्रदेश से ही होती है।
And if you want to double the money, then you should turn to a state like Madhya Pradesh. Rasna Group owner Piruz Khambata said this in a special conversation with DD India correspondent Aditya Srivastava. He was at the Global Investor Summit in Bhopal to explore further investment opportunities in Madhya Pradesh.
What do you see opportunities in Madhya Pradesh in food processing and agriculture?
I see MP has a huge potential, especially because MP has a lot of agri crops. MP has a processable variety of crops, and I do believe there are a lot of crops in MP where we can do a lot of value addition. See, food processing is all about value addition. How we can take a crop of 1 rupee and make it 2 rupee, 5 rupee, 10 rupee. And there are so many crops like that which can be sort of, value added. In India can be sold, exported can be sold, and we can make a lot of money out of it. To give a small example, like one crop we in Bihar, which is makhana. Today makhana is getting into world stage. We are now, for example, taking jeera and making jeera drink for the world stage, adding jeera with lime and making shikanji for the world stage. So this is the arena where I am seeing there is a lot of growth and potential possibility.
Modi is here. Do you think the potential of Madhya Pradesh is already showcasing?
See, our Prime Minister is a role model, and definitely he is a symbol of development which the world has recognized. So obviously if he is here, we can definitely see, we are sure the development will follow. And a lot of industrialists are here, and we are very happy that we are all assembled here to look at the potentials of MP.
Thank you so much. Owner of Rasna Group is also participating in Global Investor Summit, Bhopal. With Person Gaurav Nirudkar, Aditya Srivastava, DD India, Bhopal.
And India's role has become important in the world under the leadership of India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This was said by John Nikhil, British Deputy High Commissioner in New Delhi, in a special conversation with DD India correspondent Aditya Srivastava. Nikhil, who is also head of political affairs, said that there are immense opportunities for investment in India today.
Head of Political Affairs, British Deputy Commissioner John Nikhil with us. John, tell me, what is the opportunities you've shown in Madhya Pradesh in India?
Oh, very many, very many. That's why we're here to support the Madhya Pradesh government in their growth mission. And there's lots of opportunities in Madhya Pradesh. We've got 73 million people here, very excited for growth and opportunities, employment. So yeah, and in Bhopal and Indore, you've got two of the greenest cities in India. You've got fantastic wildlife, of course, in Madhya Pradesh, increasing numbers of tourists coming to see tigers and leopards and all the rest. So yeah.
You know, the policies of Madhya Pradesh MP is also showcasing there are 17 type of already policies released. What kind of policies you like?
Oh wow! I need to go and do some homework and read up on those policies. Yeah, I mean, basically, we want. Business wants to see security. They want to see that they're going to have a stability for their investment. And I think Madhya Pradesh is showing that. We've got British businesses interested in relocating here and all the rest. So yeah.
In which sector you are focusing?
Oh, at the moment we've got about 30 different businesses here today. So it's multi-sector. But there's definitely some opportunities I think the government's identified around pharmaceuticals, food processing. So yeah, we'll see where we get to with this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
John Nikhil with us, Head of Political Affairs, British Deputy Commissioner in India. With Person Gaurav Nirudkar, Aditya Srivastava, DD India, Bhopal.
And after Bhopal, the Prime Minister visited Bihar, where he released the 19th installment of PM Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana, transferring Rs 22,000 crore to the bank accounts of 9.8 crore farmers. Speaking at the event in Bhagalpur, Bihar, he reaffirmed his government's commitment to farmers' welfare and rural development. PM Modi emphasized that the NDA government has worked tirelessly to address farmers' challenges, ensuring better infrastructure, income support and connectivity. He highlighted his belief in 4 key pillars of democracy: the poor, farmers, youth and women as the foundation of India's growth and prosperity.
एनडीए सरकार चाहे केंद्र में हो या फिर यहां नीतीश जी के नेतृत्व में चल रही सरकार हो, किसान कल्याण हमारी प्राथमिकता में है। किसान को खेती के लिए अच्छे बीज चाहिए, पर्याप्त और सस्ती खाद चाहिए, किसानों को सिंचाई की सुविधा चाहिए, पशुओं का बीमारी से बचाव चाहिए और आपदा के समय नुकसान से सुरक्षा चाहिए।
And the Prime Minister is also visiting Guwahati in the northeastern state of Assam today to attend Jhumoy Binandini 2025, the largest Jhumoy dance event organized by the government. This initiative aims to showcase state's cultural richness and the heritage of the Tea tribe and Adivasi communities.
The Jhumoy dance is an important traditional dance form practiced by the Tea tribes of Assam in India. The Tea tribes, who are descendants of labourers brought from different regions, especially from Bengal, Bihar, Orissa and other parts of India, to work in the tea plantations of Assam, have developed their own unique culture, music and dance forms, with Jhumoy being one of them. The dance features graceful rhythmic movements accompanied by music that includes traditional instruments like the dhol, which is a large drum, flute and tabla. The steps are often lively and involve coordinated group movements, symbolizing both the hard work and joy of the people. The Jhumoy dance of the Tea tribes is an essential part of the cultural heritage of Assam, embodying the history, struggles and joys of a community that has made significant contributions to the tea industry in the region. Bureau Report, DD India.
While on Tuesday, PM Modi will also inaugurate the Advantage Assam 2.0 investment and Infrastructure Summit 2025 in Guwahati. It will include an inaugural session, 7 ministerial sessions and 14 thematic sessions. Well, shifting focus now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky hosted leaders of around 13 countries, including Baltic nations and from Canada, at the Support Ukraine event in Kiev on Monday. Reiterating his stance, Zelensky said that both Ukraine and Europe must be at the negotiating table as Russia is targeting the European way of life. He also emphasized the importance of security guarantees in a peace settlement. Meanwhile, in Brussels, Europe reiterated its support for Ukraine, saying it is needed more than ever as the bloc agreed to impose more sanctions against Russia ahead of a flurry of meetings in Brussels, Kiev and Washington this week. The 16th package of sanctions against Russia, which the ministers agreed on Monday, includes a ban on primary aluminium imports and sales of gaming consoles, as well as listing owners and operators of 74 so-called shadow fleet vessels used to evade sanctions. The European Union leaders began the meeting with observance of a minute of silence to mark 3 years of Ukraine conflict. Meanwhile, European Union leaders will hold a special summit on the Russia-Ukraine conflict on March 6. As US President Donald Trump makes overtures to Moscow over their heads, European leaders have been shaken by Trump's overtures to Russia to end the 3-year-old conflict and improve relations between the two powers. And Chinese President Xi Jinping held a telephonic conversation with his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin on Monday. During the call, Xi commended Moscow's positive efforts to defuse the ongoing crisis in Ukraine. The Kremlin issued a statement confirming that Putin had briefed Xi on recent talks between Russian and US officials held in Saudi Arabia. While Chinese news agency said, Xi stated that history and reality demonstrate that the two countries are good neighbors who cannot be separated, true friends who share both prosperity and adversity, supporting each other and pursuing common development. Also coming at the time of the 3rd anniversary of Russia-Ukraine conflict is the meeting between Trump and his French counterpart Emmanuel Macron at the White House on Monday. Ahead of the meeting, Macron said the European leaders are committed to ensuring that peace returns to Ukraine in a just, solid and lasting manner. He added that the security of Europeans is strengthened through all upcoming negotiations. Macron is also supported by most European leaders on his Washington mission, despite deep differences within the EU on the question of sending peacekeepers to Ukraine to guarantee any future deal. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer follows later in the week. Also visiting the US would be European Union Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas on Monday, where she will meet with Secretary of State Marco Rubio. The two leaders are expected to discuss EU-US relations and talks between the US and Russia on ending the conflict in Ukraine.
We have to support Ukraine right now more than ever. We are discussing and hopefully can pass the 16th package of sanctions, which includes gaming consoles to shadow fleet, the different aspects. And then we have also put forward a new defense initiative to support Ukraine with ammunition capabilities in the short term, what they need. So I also expect this political discussion to be moved forward.
And in a stunning election result that is sending shockwaves to Europe and the world, Conservative parties have triumphed in Germany, with Friedrich Merz poised to become the country's next chancellor. Details in our next report.
Yet another European country will now be governed by Conservatives. The leader of the Christian Democratic Union, or CDU, Friedrich Merz, led his alliance to victory, securing more than 28% of the vote.
Thank you very much for the trust that you place in us and also in me personally. I'm aware of the responsibility and I also understand the magnitude of the task that now lies ahead of us. I face this with the utmost respect and I know that it will not be easy.
CDU far surpassed the Social Democrats under outgoing Chancellor Olaf Scholz, whose party slumped to an all-time low of just 16%. Meanwhile, the right-wing Alternative for Germany, AfD, has catapulted to a prominent place in the parliament. the party is celebrating its best ever result. Their leader, Alice Weidel, has expressed a readiness to govern with the CDU-CSU alliance, though that remains highly unlikely at this stage. Most of Germany's mainstream parties have vowed to keep the AfD out of any coalition.
Wir haben alle gemeinsam.
We have achieved a historic result. We have never been stronger in the federal government. We have become the second strongest force as alternative for Germany. And we have now formally established ourselves as a People's Party.
Merz is heading into coalition talks without a strong negotiating hand, although his CDU-CSUs emerged as the largest party. It achieved its second lowest post-war result. It remains unclear whether Merz will need one or two coalition partners to secure a majority, as the fate of smaller parties is still uncertain, potentially complicating the parliamentary arithmetic. A three-party coalition could be especially challenging, making it harder for Germany to demonstrate clear leadership. Chancellor Scholz's Social Democrat SPD suffered a historic defeat, securing just 16.5% of the vote, marking their worst results since World War II, while the Greens garnered 11.8%. Voter turnout hit 83% this time, the highest since before reunification in 1990. The election results come at a time of unprecedented upheaval in international politics. With US President Donald Trump's recent actions, including direct talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin over the Ukraine, Merz and his allies are calling for greater European independence, particularly when it comes to matters of defense. Merz has made it clear that Europe can no longer rely solely on the United States, a sentiment that has resonated across the continent. Protracted coalition talks could leave Scholz in a caretaker role for months, delaying crucial policies needed to revive Germany's economy after 2 years of contraction, with companies battling against global competition. The future of Europe's political landscape will depend on how mainstream parties respond to these challenges. Aarti Rana's report for DD India.
I will now get you some of the reactions of the world leaders on Germany results. US President Donald Trump called the victory of Germany's major conservative alliance a great day for Germany and for the United States. Meanwhile, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said that it would have to wait and see about how ties between Russia and any new German government will evolve. And at a meeting of EU foreign ministers in Brussels, European Commission Vice President Kaja Kallas has expressed hope for formation of a new German government as fast as possible. Kaja said, and I quote her, "The German people have made a choice and now they need to put together the government. I hope that they do it as fast as possible because we really need to move on with the decisions also on the European level that require German participation." Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar addresses inaugural session of Conference on Women in Peacekeeping, a Global South perspective. UK's Business and Trade Secretary Jonathan Reynolds visits New Delhi to hold talks with Minister Piyush Goyal. Indian Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi visits Paris.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Shifting focus to Israel, where Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said on Sunday that his country was prepared to resume fighting against Hamas after the Palestinian group accused it of endangering a 5-week-old Gaza truce by suspending prisoner releases. The first phase of the truce, which has largely halted more than 15 months of devastating war in the Gaza Strip, is due to expire in early March, and details of a planned subsequent phase have not been agreed. With tensions again surging over the deal, Israel on Sunday announced an expansion of military operations in West Bank. Israel said on Sunday it was delaying the release of hundreds of Palestinian prisoners it had planned to free the day before until Hamas met its conditions. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said that Israel was waiting to deliver the 620 Palestinian prisoners and detainees until the release of the next hostage has been assured and without the humiliating ceremonies. Now, India and the UK are making a fresh push to finalize their long-awaited free trade agreement. The talks between commerce and industry ministers of the two nations come at a crucial time as global trade dynamics shift, prompting both nations to explore new opportunities. While the deal is expected to boost key sectors, both sides remain non-committal on a timeline. Meanwhile, UK investment. This is the report by DD India correspondent Anil Thomas.
A fresh push towards finalizing the India-UK trade agreement. UK Business and Trade Secretary Jonathan Reynolds held discussions with Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal in New Delhi. The talks, which had hit a pause after 14 rounds, are now back on track. The discussions come as both nations look to overcome hurdles and conclude the much-anticipated trade pact.
Together, we are both happy to announce that we have taken a decision to once again get back to the discussions which were on the table, which because of the elections got stalled, and since there was a change in government in the United Kingdom and a new political leadership, a new team at the helm of affairs, it needed to be once again assessed.
This development is particularly significant amid global trade uncertainties, pushing businesses and nations to explore diverse market opportunities.
It's an excellent place to start from, but both of us want to do more. And that's why I am so pleased to be here today, to kickstart these negotiations, to strengthen our close and vibrant relationship, and unlock new opportunities for businesses and consumers across both the UK and India.
While the free trade agreement is expected to boost key sectors, both sides remain cautious about setting a timeline for its conclusion.
I think I have consistently maintained in all our trade negotiations over the years that trade agreements are for a long-term future. One has to crystal gaze maybe 20, 30, 50 years into the future and make a robust agreement which is a win-win for both sides, and therefore neither should we rush into things, but it's always good to conclude fast, so we will have speed but not haste.
Meanwhile, UK Investment Minister Poppy Gustafsson is visiting Mumbai and Bengaluru, advocating for the UK as a prime investment hub for Indian businesses.
The trade talks back on the table is a great momentum for both India and UK as they look forward to sign on the dotted line. With camera person YK Loknath, Anil Thomas, DD India, New Delhi.
Speaking at the inaugural session of Conference on Women in Peacekeeping, a Global South Perspective on Monday, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar spoke about increased participation of women officers at the UN peacekeeping missions around the globe, including DR Congo, Golan Heights and others.
India has been at the forefront of deploying women in peacekeeping roles, both military and police. The first chapter of this journey began in the 1960s when Indian women as medical officers were deployed in Congo. In 2007, India was the first to deploy an all-women formed police unit in Liberia, a pioneering initiative that had an indelible impact on both the host community and the broader UN framework. Over the years, this initiative empowered Liberian women, increasing the participation in security sectors. Today, India proudly continues this legacy with over 150 women peacekeepers deployed across 6 critical missions, including those in the Democratic Republic of Congo, South Sudan, Lebanon, Golan Heights, Western Sahara, and Abyei.
And the two-day conference is being organized in New Delhi by the Ministry of External Affairs in collaboration with the Ministry of Defense and the Center for United Nations Peacekeeping. The conference brings together the participation of women peacekeepers from 35 troop contributing countries from the Global South. President of India, Draupadi Murmu, hailed India's contribution to UN peacekeeping. Since 1950s, India have contributed over 290,000 peacekeepers to more than 50 UN peacekeeping missions. And the three-day 12th Regional 3R and Circular Economy Forum in Asia and the Pacific is set to take place in Jaipur, Rajasthan from March 3rd with focus on technology and innovation. Housing and Urban Affairs Minister Manohar Lal Khattar addressed a curtain-raiser press conference unveiling the 3R logo and website for the event. The forum will see participation from 58 member countries with over 500 delegates and 120 speakers engaging in discussions on circular economy and 3R practices. At the presser, the minister highlighted the importance of circular economy.
सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी एक आर्थिक मॉडल है। संसाधनों का जो अधिकतम उपयोग हुआ उसके कारण से, जैसे मैंने बताया कि वेस्ट, उसका रिडक्शन और उसको रिसाइकिल करना, अर्थात रिड्यूस करना, रिसाइकिल करना और रीयूज करना। दैट्स व्हाई इट्स नेम्ड एज 3R, ताकि हम उसको एक इकोनॉमी के रूप में फिर से उपयोग कर सकें। तो उस आधार पर इस इकोनॉमी का जो उद्देश्य है, उस सारे इस सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी की यूज करने वाली जो सोसाइटी है, उसके लिए रास्ते, उसके लिए टेक्नोलॉजी, उसके लिए रिसर्च, इन सब विषयों पर विचार करेंगे और बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस दुनिया भर में जहां जहां हो रही हैं उनका उपयोग एक दूसरे देश की जानकारी में आएगा, तो उसके हिसाब से उसको आगे बढ़ाएंगे। इसका मुख्य उद्देश्य एक 3R और सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी पर डिक्लेरेशन, जिसको जयपुर डिक्लेरेशन के नाम से जाना जाएगा, 2025 से 2034 जो 10 वर्ष के लिए और ये डिक्लेरेशन होगी, इसको भी वहां पर अडॉप्ट किया जाएगा।
And Chief of the Army Staff, General Upendra Dwivedi, received a warm welcome from India's Ambassador Sanjeev Singla in Paris. Ahead of the former's interaction with his French counterpart over bilateral defense cooperation and global security challenges, General Dwivedi's visit from February 24th to 27th aims to strengthen the military collaboration between India and France, an engagement that comes close to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's recent visit to France, where he co-chaired the AI Action Summit in Paris. A Bangladesh Air Force base in Cox's Bazar came under attack on Monday, resulting in one death and multiple injuries. According to an official statement from the Inter-Services Public Relations, the assault was carried out by miscreants from the Samiti Para neighborhood located adjacent to the airbase. Authorities have assured that the Bangladesh Air Force is taking necessary measures to control the situation. Cox's Bazar Deputy Commissioner stated that an investigation is underway to determine the cause of the attack. Well, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.